Good morning, everyone.
Good morning.
Thank you so much for sharing your time with us this morning. Let's get started by remembering to silence our cell phones as we welcome you to the Unitarian Universalist Congregation of the Swannanoa Valley. My name is Fletcher Walsh, and I'm a member of the Board of Trustees. So real quick, recently I received an invitation to attend a special event at Whitehorse this past Thursday evening. And when I walked in, I saw a village of you folks. I mean, you guys were everywhere, and I thought to myself, did we buy the place? And so the lights get dimmed, and Bob Hinkle starts the evening off with a few jokes, just to sort of warm us up. Sound familiar? And I'm thinking, Michael, that you should have an evening together because he seems to think he's funny, too. I actually love you both, and really don't change a thing. As Sarah, our guest speaker, said a few weeks ago, we need more laughter in our lives. It's essential to our well-being. So with laughter, open hearts, and open minds, we embrace the beauty and spirit of diversity, not bound to or by a specific creed. Through covenant with one another, we affirm, practice, and promote 8 principles as our core values. With love and justice a common thread throughout. At the end of the day, it's our actions guided by those principles that best define who we are, and through equal measure, our connection to the world around us. You can always find our 8 principles on the back of the order of service. And as a reminder to myself, I find it helpful to look at these throughout the week. It's our tradition to welcome first and second time visitors, those of you who may not have been here for a while, to stand if you're comfortable. In doing so, introduce yourself and tell us where you're from, if you could start over on the side.
I'm Jeff, and these are my neighbors and friends. I'll let them introduce themselves.
Welcome.
My name's Scotty, just out here from Washington, and this is Rhea, Rowan, and Ryder.
Welcome.
Welcome. And anyone over on this side? Okay. Well, once again, thank you for joining us today. If you have an interest in learning more about UUCSB, please fill out the orange cards that are located in the back of the pew. There's also some outside on the foyer of the table, and you can place them in the collection plate or again outside on the table out front. We also have volunteers from our membership committee, and they're also wearing orange name tags. Can be identified with orange name tags. And feel free to speak with them during our coffee hour directly after. A couple of announcements. Please mark your calendar for our annual auction on November 3rd through the 9th. This event serves as a major fundraiser for UUCSB and as a way to support a local nonprofit. We need your support to help us make this the best year ever. Our volunteers will be reaching out to you in the coming weeks, and please take their call and consider donating something special. Offer to host a dinner party or consider offering a class in something you love, perhaps. We really sincerely appreciate your participation. Also, servant keeper, Rochelle will be out in the lobby directly after the service to answer any questions you may have if you're having any problems getting on. We end this part of the service with respect that the land that we're on today was and remains the ancestral home of the Cherokee and of other indigenous people who through stewardship, understanding, and conservation survived and still thrive in this land. We acknowledge their enduring connection to their homeland. Let's begin our service.
Good morning.
Good morning.
My name is Susan Enner Hicks, and I have the privilege of being the Religious Education Director of this congregation. And it's my joy to welcome you this morning with these opening words. Our church exists to proclaim the gospel that each human being is infinitely precious. That the meaning of our lives lies hidden in our interactions with each other. We wish to be a church where we encounter each other with wonder, appreciation, and expectation, where we call out each other's strengths, wisdom, and compassion that we never knew we had. And now I have a story for all ages. I would like to invite the young and the young at heart to join me at the front of the pulpit if they're willing and able.
And you all have to run down like that.
I will.
We'll call an ambulance.
I'll try to make the pages seem to the rest of you, but really, these are the good seats. Yeah. So particularly those of you who have a hard time seeing in the back there, maybe those of you who are a little shorter, if you want to come down front, you are most welcome. At any point today. So because this morning, great. Because this morning's service is our homecoming and our water communion service, I have chosen the book Water is Water by Miranda Paul and with illustrations by Jason Jin. Water is water. Drip, sip, pour me a cup. Water is water until it heats up. Whirl, swirl, watch it curl by. Steam is steam unless it cools high. A dragon in a wagon? A crow kneading dough? Clouds are clouds unless they form low. Misty, twisty, where is the town? Fog is fog unless it falls down. Patter, splatter, what is that sound? Rain is rain unless it's on the ground. Slosh in galoshes, splash to your knees. Puddles are puddles unless, can you guess? Unless puddles freeze. Glide, slide, put on the brakes. Ice is ice unless it forms flakes. Pack, stack, shape it, and smack. Snow is snow until spring comes back. Creep, seep, squish in your boots. Mud is mud unless there are roots. Swig, those, yeah, put this way. Grow big, reach for the best. Apples are apples unless they are pressed. Drip, sip, pour me a cup. cider is cider until we drink up. Because I believe in homecomings with hospitality, there'll be some water with roots and some pressed fruit in the lobby, or in our foyer after the service.
Thank you.
I'm not going to read it all, but there are some important water facts in the back of this book, including the fact that people can only drink 1% of the water that's on Earth. We don't get any more. It doesn't go away. And it changes cycles, right? And it moves around. But we can't make more water. So it's important to conserve and take care of the water that we have, right? And to appreciate it.
Yes. Thank you, Susan. And thank you. So did most of you bring your water, or did you forget? Some people, how many people brought water? Okay, that's about a half a cup. That would be very good. As long as we have some water. You know, this is one of our UU rituals, and I think predominantly, probably about 99% of UU churches during the month of September celebrate the homecoming service. And of course, we have our flower communion on Easter. And what we ask you to do is to, you know, bring up water from your travels over the summer, whether you had a vacation or a staycation. And we ask you to pour it in there, and I'll do a little, say some words, some magic words. And because water is life. And you know, when we're looking for life on other planets, you know, the first thing we always look for is there water on that planet? Because water is life. And so this is what the symbolism is. So before we go further, I'm going to ask you to come up with your water. As a matter of fact, let me do this first. Carol Black is not here. I think she's in Warsaw. But this is water from, where did she get this? Oak Island. So I will do the honors. And you just come up and say where you got the water from. Pour it in here. Seems like I'm making a concoction. And then go back to your seat. So, come.
So those of you who know me know I love to garden, so we don't normally go away in the summer, but this is from the gutters from my greenhouse.
Thanks for that.
All right, just similar. Water fell on my roof, went down my drain pipes, and I have a big water barrel that I use water plants and stuff. But it's like a little funky looking.
Excellent,
It's
excellent,
clean rainwater.
excellent.
This is actually water from Loch Ness in Scotland. So my boys collected this. We made sure to get it while we were in Scotland. It's in a recycled aluminum bottle that we got in Glencoe Valley, Scotland. So water there.
This is water from Maine.
This is symbolic water that should have fed the community garden here in Black Mountain this summer that did not happen. That we needed.
2 years ago this month, our life journey brought us here to Black Mountain. And 3 rentals later, we found a house, and this is water from our kitchen faucet.
This is water from our rain barrel, which we use to water our gardens in the summer.
This is water from my cat's water bowl. Who would have thought in this strange year that having a cat
would be a political statement. Here's Finnegan's item.
City of Asheville tap water, say a prayer, the water department needs a lot of help.
Water from Loch Lomond, where we were a couple of weeks ago. This is an appreciation of the McIntyre family for their heritage there, and that is my heritage.
This is water from Susie. Where is Susie?
We went to Susie this year. Susie, the UU camp that, well, happened to the southeastern Ireland. This last one was good. We also had some fun times on Lake Bowen in South
When I moved here 7 years ago, I lived right around the corner from Lake Tomahawk, and the first time I walked around the lake, I thought, this is absolutely gorgeous, this is wonderful, and I've been reminding myself ever since to remember that and not take it for granted. So this is water from Lake Tomahawk.
Hello, everyone. This is water from Whole Foods on Merriman. It is filtered water that we drink at home. Yeah. It's open. And this is water from the French Broad River that we collected on our way here.
Two years ago, almost to the day, my husband and I moved to Black Mountain, and we moved here because I liked all the paths along Flat Creek, and this is water from Flat Creek that I got this morning. I made this little pot.
Okay, my water is in the car. So this is symbolic. It's water from my tap. Because I spent most of the year surviving cancer, I had to learn to drink a lot of water, and I didn't get to go anywhere. So I have in the car some filtered water that I have been much better at drinking.
I don't want to read the same thing every year. I usually read something called the Tao of Water, but I found something else. This is from John O'Donohue's To Bless the Space Between Us, which I've recommended to you before. It's the gift that keeps on giving. And so it's a long passage, so I'm going to edit it. But it's called In Praise of Water. Let us bless the grace of water. Let us bless the humility of water, always willing to take the shape of whatever otherness holds it. The buoyancy of water, stronger than the deadening downward drag of gravity, the innocence of water, flowing forth without thought of what awaits it. The refreshment of water, dissolving the crystals of thirst. Water, voice of grief, cry of love, and the flowing tear. Water, vehicle and idiom of all the inner voyaging that keeps us alive. Blessed be water, our first mother. So, now I guess we officially start, don't we? Okay, well, so, ready? So please rise as you are willing and able and join in singing our opening hymn this morning, My Life Flows On, hymn number 108.
Song,
Please be seated. Our responsive reading is number 540 in the back of the hymnal. The Peace of Autumn. Today, the peace of autumn pervades the world.
In the radiant noon, silent and motionless, the wide stillness rests like a tired bird.
Spreading over the deserted fields to all horizons, its wings of golden green.
Today, the thin thread of the river flows without song, leaving no mark on its sandy banks.
The many distant villages bask in the sun with eyes closed in idle and languid slumber.
In the stillness, I hear in every blade of grass.
In every speck of dust, in every part of my own body, in the visible and indivisible worlds.
In the planets, the sun, and stars, the joyous dance of atoms through endless time.
Before we start the joys and concerns, we had a wedding here yesterday that was wonderful. I wish you could have been here. Bill, thank God, helped with the sound. And it was a real treat. And it's good in a lot of ways because people get to know we're here and they know the space is here. Also, the couple was Catholic, and so they chose the UU congregation, and we use God language. That was up to them. But it just is a testament to the openness, to the community we can build and try and build here, because as you know, we don't have to think alike to love alike. I wanted to share with you, I spoke to Catherine Petroquin. Her husband, Harry, was going through some health issues. He had a procedure done. He came home. I saw him. We had to put him in an ambulance to get him back to the hospital. And I think he's coming. I spoke to Catherine this morning. I think he's going to be coming home today. So keep him in your thoughts and prayers. And so with that said, we have the stones and the water, and please come up and share a joy, a concern, and the floor is yours. The stones are here, as is the water and the fire. So we have the elements for you as well. me to bring you the stones? Okay, this stone is for those of you who, for whatever reason, you decided not to come up. We keep you in our hearts and minds, and in our thoughts and prayers. I want to share with you, I want to use it as a meditation. It was synchronicity. There's a woman who I don't really know well. I go every year to speak at a conference on the paranormal and on UFOs and religion. And I'm obviously leaving Thursday. And there's a woman there. We don't speak often. You know, we say hi. I don't know, we just haven't had time to talk. And I was on social media, and she put this on about life lessons. And, you know, obviously this is what I want to talk about a little bit today with homecoming. And so I want to share this with you as a meditation. I think she wrote this, I'm not sure, but I'm going to use it. Afterwards, we'll have our time of quiet. Here's the truth. You can be a really good friend and still not be liked. You can hold someone dear and still not be valued. You can say all the right things and still have someone twist your words, brush off your words, or worse, use your words against you. You can give it your absolute best and still have it not work out. You can be straight up sunshine in the flesh and still walk into some heavy rain clouds. You can play your heart out and still lose the game. You can place the highest bid and still walk away empty-handed. You can be pure as humanly possible and still be painted as the bad guy. After years of work, these are some things I've learned. You can't control other people, not even in the slightest, and it is a complete waste to ever assume that you can. It will make you angry and exhausted and chasing something you don't have a chance to catch. So switch gears and just try to control you. Control your mouth. Control how you treat people. Control your attitude. Guard your heart and keep it genuine. Keep showing up. That's all. That's enough. Other people aren't you. They don't think like you or feel like you. Their experiences belong to them alone. They approach situations differently, and their outlook is nothing like yours. Don't expect them to handle things exactly like you do. They aren't you. They're them. Do your best and accept that, or at least try to love them for it. Sometimes you're actually the bad guy. Sometimes you're the one acting foolish. Sometimes you're the one with the toxic trait or two. Check your own heart. Clean out the junk and grow from it. Apologize, and now that you've learned, take that wisdom, do better next time, stay humble, and give others an awful lot of grace along the way. There is a purpose to it all. There is beauty everywhere. That failed friendship will teach you how to do the next one better. That heartache will remind you to be gentle with other people. That loneliness will help you appreciate connection when you do find it, and you will find it. Not every season lasts forever, but every season does produce something precious eventually, even if it's just a fresh perspective. So rest well, my friends. Life is a long series of letting some things go and holding others close. A catch and release sort of cycle. Let go of needing people to approve of you. Let go of bitterness and resentment and any of that junk. Let go of insecurity, especially let go of guilt. It will keep you shackled like nothing else. Hold close to your family and the people in your life who have stuck around. Hold close to your integrity and your morals. Hold close to your light and your joy and your hope. Hold close to today. Believe in tomorrow. Hold closest to love. At the end of the day, it's all that really matters. And as long as you have it, you'll always have more than enough. And so, while those words got your attention, I will now leave you with the eloquence of silence. And so it is. We will now collect this morning's offering.
James later.
do the hymn, don't we? Yeah. Thank you for your generosity. Please rise as you are willing and able, and join in singing the UU National Anthem, Spirit of Life. She sang it when she was younger and it was kind of frivolous and up and what have you. And then when she sings it now, you can, that wisdom, that pain, the regrets. Yeah, I love that kind of stuff. Maybe I'll bring it up here. So we're back together from our usual summer journeys, inner and outer journeys. We have the last 3 months of the year. Well, now it's less than 3 months. And some of us have had our staycations and vacations. And I don't know, perhaps over the summer, maybe you've had some type of self-awareness, some eureka moment, or people call them aha moments, about yourself and the world and your place in it. Maybe not. But this morning, many UU churches across the country are having their annual homecoming services. And if it's not today, it's this month. Usually we try to get it out of the way in September. And I love the idea of the homecoming Sundays because we gather together after our, jaunts and journeys in the summer. We get together, we share our travels, we share where we've been. And it's a great way to end, I think, the fiscal year. I love the idea because it also lifts up, more importantly, the ritual itself, but the primary human need in all of us. And that is what? That is the need to belong. To belong. All of us and all parts of us. And we welcome everyone here with a warm embrace and a rejoicing spirit, knowing and encouraging you in the belief that, we covenant together. And if you attend here, hopefully, you can find a sense of being at home in the world while you're on your particular life's journey. No matter what is happening out there, we invite you to come as you are. We invite you to get involved. And we want to hear your stories about your life journey, the journey that brought you here to this congregation and keeps you returning Sunday after Sunday. On our board retreat next month, we're going to be talking about our spiritual journeys. How did we get here? And of course, that's an ongoing thing, but that's what the board is going to share with one another. It's crucial because I've said to you before, I know many ministers who their congregation doesn't even know what they believe in. What it is, what it is about life and that part in life. And some of my stuff, you may not always agree with it, but you know where I'm coming from. It's important that we know that. It's important to seek, but it's also important to find. You don't get points just for being a seeker. You want to find something on the journey. So we invite you to get involved, and because all oppressions, to my mind, all injustice, racism, fear, violence, and we could even say sickness and pestilence, On some level, it comes from the lack of understanding that everyone and everything belongs, that we are significant, that we are all essential, and that there is a what? A unity in our diversity. We are in the age of Aquarius. Aquarius is about many things. It's the water bearer, if you've got some astrology background. But it's also about diversity, and it's about technology. And who can doubt that this is where we're going? And you can go kicking and screaming, but you'll be a dinosaur. But getting used to difference, getting used to, we're living in a highly technological world, and we will continue to. And so this is where we are. And so to be against that is really in the illusion of separation. This illusion that I'm not connected to you or to our surroundings. If you are connected to your consciousness, that you'd see what I'm talking about. It's called the law of one. It is the work of an unhealthy ego to believe in separateness and division. The notion of home or homecoming is to settle into a place where ideally, not all the time, but ideally you can feel comfortable and safe. Ideally, you don't feel separate from others in the community. Home is where you can grow your soul, if I could put it that way. Home is where you can cultivate your what? Your interior life, your spiritual life, if you like that word. And so hopefully UUCSV can be your spiritual interior life headquarters, if you want. Author Richard Rohr writes in a wonderful book called Yes and, when any congregation defines itself by exclusion, it is always wrong. The church is avoiding its purpose and vocation. Homecoming is when all of our members and all parts of our members come together in covenant and try to accept one another. It's the attempt, because we are human beings. Homecoming is about forgiveness as well. Rohr says that his process includes every part being forgiven, every part belonging or trying to be understood, even the tragic parts that are now lessons to be learned. He notes that with this type of thinking, then, home is not simply a geographical place. It's much more than that. It is a place where everything belongs and everything can be held. And so everything is a gift in a way. Everything is a lesson. Even when we don't get along, even when we may disagree, there's a lesson to be learned in it. And sometimes not. Sometimes if it looks like a duck and quacks like a duck, it's a duck. I don't know if you've ever been around people that everything has to have such a profound meaning. Sometimes it is what it is. I don't like you. You don't like me. And there's no great spiritual lesson. We will coexist. You know, it's hard to be around people like that, and everything is so profound. And it's like, don't try so hard. Just let them come. St. Gregory of Nyssa, one of the Eastern Fathers of the Orthodox Christian Church, defined sin as the refusal to keep growing. Part of finding a home is not only to find a place where you can keep growing if appropriate, but, you know, maybe you can model something and help people find theirs. Part of homecoming is that as we grow and evolve as human beings, as we live out our principles, these 4 words can perhaps make our journey a bit easier. I'm still learning. I am still learning. This is what I love about the song, and because, you know, Joni's talking about the illusion. She says, you know, so many things I would have done if clouds hadn't gotten in the way. Now, they could be, I could have created those clouds, you know. love, she talks about, the illusion, life's illusions. And she comes to the conclusion that she really doesn't know about life, or love, or clouds. And now she's got the world right where she wants it, really. Because once you get that you don't know, you got him. You got him. It's a powerful, powerful song. And so life is a school. And we are enrolled. And we can't get out of class alive. What have we done? But you know, there are many other kinds of homecomings. There's the traditional homecoming when people travel and return. People move from one place to another for a variety of reasons. There are explorers who are always looking for lands that they want to put their footprint on and that they want to prove something. And then there are travelers who are curious to see everything. And so they travel. And there are tourists who just like to go and just relax. There are other kinds of tourists who just go to escape. I got to get away from work. I want to get away from my family. I just need some time. And after all of this, they return home. And then there's a different homecoming. There's the homecoming of sorts that when you get home after a busy day, when the events of that day nag at us or perhaps bring us a sense of joy. When we arrive home after a day such as this, we just need to sit and breathe and gather ourselves, to come home to ourselves and the stillness within. Some people are still learning to do that. So we're still learning. This is sometimes referred to as the journey without distance. You don't really have to go anywhere. There's a wonderful line in A Course in Miracles, and it's talking about the practice of meditation. And it says, in the midst of the noise and distractions of everyday life, in the midst, I don't want to get caught up in the glorification of busy. So if I just take a deep breath and tell myself, I will be still for an instant and go home. Just for an instant. And go home. This inward journey is a homecoming. This is the thankful homecoming of there's the homecoming of the arrival of our spirits back in our bodies after a night's sleep. You know, that doesn't have to happen. But we take it for granted. We take it for granted. When we wake up from a good night's sleep and we see the new dawn of a new day, it's a gift for the eyes to see the world. A gift for the mind to feel at home in one's body, to experience possibilities. This is a homecoming as well. And we're still learning that. Maybe for some of you, you've heard it, but today it resonates with you for the first time in a different way. Celtic author John O'Donohue writes about a child entering the world as a sort of homecoming. I want to share it with you. It's written from the newborn's perspective. He writes from the perspective of a child leaving the source, the fractalized universe, as Plato talks about, and quantum physics is now talking about. He's writing from the perspective of the child leaving the source, this celestial home, to begin its mission on Earth. Preparing for its new incarnation, O'Donohue writes, its new home, actually. As I enter my new family, may they be delighted at how their kindness comes into blossom. Unknown to me and them, may I be exactly the one to restore to their forlorn places new vitality and promise. May the hearts of others hear again the music in the lost echoes of their neglected wonder. If my destiny is sheltered, may the grace of this privilege reach and bless other infants who are destined for torn places. And if my destiny is bleak, may I find myself a secret stillness and tranquility beneath the turmoil. May my eyes never lose sight of why I have come here, that I never be claimed by the falsity of fear or eat the bread of bitterness. In everything I do, think, feel, and say, may I be allowed the light of the world I am leaving to shine through and to carry me back home. End quote. The great Irish poet Seamus Heaney wrote a poem called Double Take. And in the poem, he notes that our homecoming place, our home, is beyond revenge, where hope and history rhyme. In other words, home can be a place of justice. Now, this is September 15th, so September 11, 2001, our home was attacked. And no matter where you are or were on that political spectrum, there had to be at least some sense of violation, some sense of injustice, rightly or wrongly, because we know that people are, because of our policies, we're getting wasted every day. But still, the 4 words, I am still learning, resonate after an event like that, at least for me, on a multitude of levels, because we're still learning the truth of what was happening behind that day. And yet, being interconnected in some strange way, even the perpetrators belong and are connected to us. Everyone and everything is somehow weaved together in a scheme, a plan that will eventually carry us all with it, kicking and screaming if it has to get us as a species to recognize the inherent worth and dignity and connectedness of every sentient being on this planet, whether you like them or not. That's the killer. See, because we want to pick and choose, because we know what justice is. We know what's right. We know. Yet the words of the German philosopher Goethe rings true. No lie lives forever. The words of the Buddha ring true. 3 things cannot be hidden for long: the sun, the moon, and the truth. Sometimes on the journey home, we take 3 steps up and 25 steps back. Joseph Campbell reminds us that when we are on a spiritual journey and it appears that our goal is getting further and further away, hopefully we will come to realize that the journey is the goal. There are also times when we are not lost. We just don't want to go home. J.R.R. Tolkien, author of Lord of the Rings, reminds us that all who wander are not lost. We may want to choose a home somewhere else. And so, those things being said, our call on this homecoming Sunday is to do the inner work that we need to do for our own interior lives to make sure that everyone belongs as much as humanly possible and everything belongs. And that we can help people when we've helped ourselves in their homecoming process if they so choose. If they so choose. Did I mention that they have a choice? Because when experiencing our own homecoming, whether it is literal or figuratively speaking, we have to remember that good fences make good neighbors. And those are the wise words of Robert Frost. Today we call them boundaries. At times we can be so enthusiastic about our new discoveries and our new journey that we want to share that. And that's okay. There's nothing wrong with that. But we need to let others have their space as well. And so just because something works for us, and just because if it works for us, it most likely at times may work for someone else, that does not mean that they have to engage us and take our suggestions on. Theologian and mystic Howard Thurman calls boundaries thinking twice before you move your neighbor's landmarks. You see, we may not be responsible for all that occurs in our lives, but we are responsible for how we respond. I didn't say react, but how we respond. And that is difficult. That is difficult, but it is doable. Thurman says it is a form of arrogance that causes a person to feel that it is his or her peculiar right to put the whole world in order, to close all things open, and to set all the crooked paths straight. Unless we've walked in another's moccasins, we can't know what their experiences are. And we all have our journeys. We all have our landmarks. And they represent our scars, our triumphs, and our discoveries. And they are symbols of the moment where we became aware of our life's purpose. So no communication is possible between people if we do not have the respect and recognition of another person's landmark or their boundaries. And they are signs. They're like an altar. You walk down here, and like in biblical times, they would put up an altar where they met Asherah. You know, because primitive Judaism was not, I'm just using it as an example, was not monotheistic. It became monotheistic because there were other gods. And so, you know, and you said, this marks a special point. This is where I met Asherah, and I put my altar there and my gift there. I may walk down to Ingalls and I see an altar to Baal. Okay, these are personal places, and you need to respect. You don't desecrate. In my own experience, because if you don't do it, homecoming can be dangerous. And so gratitude is part of homecoming. An attitude of gratitude, it can be challenging for some. It's especially challenging for those who see that my job is to change the world. Seeing what is wrong and making it all right. That's tiring. After healthy boundaries and gratitude, there's one more step. To help the world, because you'll be helping yourself, and then you can go out. To live beyond revenge. To live beyond revenge. We do this by examining ourselves and ourselves alone. We stay in our own lane. Stay in your own lane. For when it's all said and done, the greatest homecoming is coming home to yourself. Our self-transformation and actualization is the gift we give to ourselves when we gather here on Sunday. In fact, our gathering can accelerate the process. And then we can take this expanded lifestyle, because that's what happens when you do the inner work, when you do your spiritual homework, when you do your meditations, when you do your prayers, when you commune with nature, when you peel the onion, you have a what? An expanded lifestyle. You have more abundance. You're more clear thinking. You draw more things and people to you that people will see, and they will say, like they do in recovery, I like Michael's style of recovery. I want to get to know him. I want to get to know what he's doing. I'm not going out and telling them, hey man, let me tell you something. No, because you have to walk it. People can feel it. People feel it. You don't have to do anything but just be. Again, the words of Celtic author John O'Donohue. May all that is unforgiven in you be released. May your fears yield their deepest tranquilities. May all that is unlived in you blossom into a future graced with love. May you come to get it that you don't know life at all. You don't know love. Me too, I don't know. I think I know. That's dangerous. But I know that I'm open. I don't know clouds. You know, the clouds, they got in my way because I put them there. I put them there. To the degree that you and I find our way home, when we become walking homecomings, by our example, we can assist. We can raise the frequency and the vibration of the planet. In the words of the poet, to come home to a place where hope and history rhyme, or in the words of mystic Howard Thurman, one day we will live in a friendly world of friendly folk underneath a friendly sky. Amen. Thank you. And please rise as you are willing and able and join in singing hymn number 126, our closing hymn this morning. Come thou fount of every blessing. The blessing of truth be upon us. The power of love direct and sustain us. And more importantly, may the peace of this community preserve our going out and our coming in until we meet again. Have a wonderful afternoon.